Good morning, everybody. You have tuned in to the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm your host, First Sergeant Rich Myers with the Public Information Office from Indiana State Police. I've got a couple of guests here today in uniform, a couple of veteran guests here, but one of them has a new role. We got Captain Dave Burson. You're in your old role. You're just here.
I'm still just rolling along.
That's right. And we have a newly appointed Sergeant John Perrine from District 52 Public Information Office, and I appreciate you guys being here today.
Thanks for having us.
We also appreciate the Indiana State Police and Cops for Kids for being with us today and continued support of the Indiana State Police Roadshow. We thank them for everything they do, and we also thank Tom Trial for the behind the scenes putting us on YouTube each and every week. But welcome, gentlemen. We appreciate you being here. Dave, this is kind of a meet and greet, isn't it?
It is a meet and greet, and it's nice to, and anybody that's in the military and stuff, they're probably looking at John and saying, well, where are his sergeant stripes? And, we had that spat of weather that our last promotion ceremony got canceled. Mm-hmm. So he is getting the pay for the position.
That's what matters.
That's what matters. He just doesn't have all the accoutrements that go with it, but that'll be changing as soon as we can reschedule the promotion ceremony.
Yeah, we actually have a nice ceremony. The superintendent and the colonel are there, and they actually do the pinning of the insignia on his collar, and then he picks somebody else that's kind of special to put the other one on, right?
That might be your wife, maybe?
Yeah, my wife's going to pin my badge on, and then my former supervisor, Sergeant Jeff Rader, is going to pin on my chevrons.
Excellent. Good.
Well, we're speaking with newly appointed Sergeant John Perrine. John is going to be the District 52 Public Information Officer now, taking over for me.
Yes.
Who's moved on to help Dave out with some things.
Yeah,
So,
we never talked about your new role.
well, I know, but I wasn't going to bring that up, Dave, but that's all right. We'll just...
Let's talk about it, Rich.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Back to the accoutrements, because you're in the same position, waiting to, because Rich is actually a first sergeant now, and is waiting for. But you're a special assignment. You do a lot with the legislature while they're in session, and I know that you want to have Karen as part of.
Yeah, she'll be there. Exactly. Yeah. So John and I are kind of waiting, but again, the pay is there. So drive on, drive forward,
and the workload is there as well.
Yeah, that didn't wait to come along. Did
Sure didn't. Sure didn't.
Yeah. And John kind of got baptized by fire here on this new job with and we'll talk about that a little bit. But let's talk about John's career. John, what made you start to say, "Hey, I want to be an Indiana State Trooper"?
Well, I always respected and noticed the professional image at the state police, even before I became a trooper. And once I became a trooper, it was important for me to carry on that professional image. And early on, I got involved with the DARE program a little bit.
Okay.
And it made me realize how much I enjoyed that public relations part of our job. And so I took every opportunity I could to participate in those public relation events. And I was working the fairs and the special events, and I was going to the schools. And I just took a liking to being able to talk to the public and help, give a good word about our department and let them know the positive things that we're doing.
Well, what year did you start with the state police?
I graduated from the academy in 2003.
And went where?
I went up to Lowell to.
Okay.
Yeah, went to Lowell, far away from
way
home.
north.
Yeah, little boy that grew up in Sheridan, Indiana, a little farm town, and my first assignment was Northern Lake County, which is Gary and Hammond.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
It was a great experience. I spent
Baptism by fire there.
Yeah,
again.
absolutely. I spent just under 2 years up there, and then finally got to transfer back home to where I started patrolling Hamilton County.
Now, you've been in Hamilton County since?
Yes.
Okay. And we had a little bit of change there also.
Yeah, originally it was out of the Pendleton district, and then I think in 2010 there was some district reallotments, and Hamilton County got absorbed by the Indianapolis district. So I stayed in Hamilton County, but my post changed, and I was out of the Indianapolis post as of 2010, still patrolling Hamilton County primarily.
And a lot of people might remember that you've been on the show several times because you're kind of our go-to guy here in the Indianapolis district for the Safe School Active Shooter program. And that's taken off like wildfire also, hasn't
I'll tell you, it's unbelievable. When we started this program, it was primarily designed for schools, and I knew I wanted to be involved. And I was asked to participate, and I kind of took the ball and got it rolling.
Well, you kind of a good fit because you're a firearms instructor also.
Yeah, it was kind of natural for me because since 2007, I've been a firearms and tactics instructor, teaching police officers, mainly troopers, how to not only shoot, but tactics and response options and things like that. But when they came up with this program that we could teach civilians this same information about what would you do in an active shooter, or not just active shooter, but a violent encounter, it was something that I took near and dear to my heart. And so in the first year of the program, the superintendent challenged each district to do one program. And at Indianapolis, we did almost 50 in that first year because we wanted to get that information out. So that program has now evolved from schools to churches and businesses, and we've offered this to pretty much anybody. We've done a couple of public forums now that have gotten great response, and it's just about having response options of what would you do in an active shooter event.
Well, I know we've even incorporated in the Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Division to do school buses and what school bus drivers can do in an option like that also.
Yeah, and our program has recently kind of gone nationwide. We were the first agency that we know of in the country to incorporate school bus violence into our program, and we've made that information available to the public across the country, and we're getting information that it's being used. And as far as north as Canada, we're getting feedback from Canada that they're using our program and our information. So we're happy that we're able to spread that word.
Yeah, and an interesting thing about that is sometimes I hear, and you may hear it, and you may hear it as well. Say, why are you doing this? You're just scaring people. What are the odds of it happening? And I agree, the odds are very slim, very slim. We also do fire drills. We do tornado drills. We had a tornado hit in Henryville several years ago.
Right.
We look at the fire drills. I can't tell you the last time a school caught on fire.
John can. I've heard this comment.
Yeah.
So,
what year was that, John?
In the 1950s in Chicago was the last time a kid was killed in a school fire in the United States. In the 1950s.
1950s, but we do fire drills.
Every month.
So we have, unfortunately, more people being killed by active shooter events than we have people being killed in fires at schools. The chances are still very slim. We're just trying to give people the information to have in the back of their mind what to do in the event that happens.
But Dave, wouldn't it be amazing if 50 years from now somebody's sitting where we are saying we haven't had a kid killed in a school shooting since 2015?
That would be fantastic.
And that's what we're trying to get to. That's our goal. Is we want to promote this, but we want to make people safe.
But what we're doing also, as you see with the fires in the schools, what do? We made more fire retardant areas, desks, schools. It's very, very hard to burn one now. So hopefully we're building up that.
Absolutely.
We're learning things to make things safer and to do better with this also.
Yeah, schools aren't cheap to build, but they spend millions of dollars to meet fire code.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping that our information, they'll start thinking about violence as well.
And we're building to education and building the violence part. We're really going off on different tangents. The newest airport built since 9/11 was the Indianapolis International Airport. Really? That's the first airport built with all the modern security protocols in place. All the others they've had to retrofit, and sometimes it's very haphazard, which is why the Indianapolis International Airport has been so highly acclaimed. You learn, you advance, and building through education.
Well, again, you've tuned into the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids. I have with me my guest, Captain Dave Burson from the Public Information Office, also Sergeant John Perrine, the newly appointed Sergeant of the Indianapolis District PIO here at Indianapolis. And John, we kind of got off on a tangent on what you do and do well. But so, what do you think of your new job? Have you?
I'll tell you, I haven't had a lot of time to sit back and reflect, but it's fantastic. I really truly enjoy being the man in the middle, the liaison between the public, the media, and the law enforcement, and so it's given me some opportunity to already begin networking with other PIOs from other agencies and even within our own agency. I'm very fortunate to have great mentors ahead of me, yourself and Captain Burson, as well as the PIOs that have reached out to me and that I've reached out to from around the state. And it's actually a really tight-knit network that I'm finding, and we all rely on each other very, very strongly, and it's great to have that person out there.
And I know you've already seen, and I've done it my whole career, and I'm sure Dave has too, that we lean on a lot of our guys that are very good with a camera, very good talking. I know you use Mike Meinzinger on a couple of details
Mike's
already.
My go-to guy right now.
Yeah, and he's very good with what he does, and our department has a lot of those individuals, don't they, Dave?
We do, and I think of Shanna Kennedy, who was a PIO for a while up in Lafayette.
Susan Rentschler,
Susan as well. We've Tommy Walker. We've got a lot of good people that have the ability to share that information. People ask me, what makes a good public information officer? And it's not so much what you see on TV. It's somebody that can talk and have a normal conversation and isn't saying, I saw the suspect exit the vehicle and I began immediately to be in a foot pursuit of said subject. Yeah, talk like a normal person,
right,
and be able to convey what's happening and how it's going along.
Well, I know this is not just by chance either, because we have programs that you give at the academy that helps with these individuals and helps them out, correct?
Yes, we do. We do training. We do training in the academy. We also do in-house training for our personnel. We send people to training. As a matter of fact, you went to it was the FBI LEDA school.
Yeah, great school. Yeah.
So we
not just myself, but we sent Trooper Mike Wood out of Putnamville, who's not a PIO, but has shown the same interest that I've shown over the last several years, and so he's being rewarded for that.
And what I want to do is send, he's the go-to person when Joe Watts is gone, that I want to send others to the training. So it's not so much that you come into the position, and I was very fortunate that when I came in, the person who helped train me was Sergeant John Wheeler.
Yeah.
You didn't know John.
I do know him.
You do know him? Okay.
Yes.
And I know that you know John.
I worked a lot with John.
And he was very generous with his time and helping introduce me to people.
Just as you've been with me, and Rich has been with me as well.
And we try to pass that on. So.
Well, I think we see, too, how this has evolved when you and I, especially you, it was the news release sent out on paper to the different news organizations. Yes. And they picked it up, may not picked it up. And that was pretty much what you had. Maybe talk to a few on camera when you get out there. And today it's Twitter. Oh, yeah. And it's instant, isn't it, John?
I can tell you that's what I'm learning is how instant the media and the public expect information now. Yeah. We had some, I was involved with the unfortunate homicide in Boone County last week. And within several minutes of tweeting out the picture of the suspect, 30,000 people had seen my tweet. Yeah. And that's just incredible to me how quickly we can get word out now. It's not just snail mail anymore. I mean, it's instant. And we use that to our advantage.
Yeah, and we need to use that and get that out. But also inclement weather, storms, that type of thing, anything that we can help the public. I think they expect it and deserve it anymore.
Well, I'd like to remind folks that follow your local PIO and your local state police district and the state police on Twitter, because it seems like right now that's what we're using for up to the minute updates. Right. Now we're still sending out our typical news releases and we're using other social media as well, but I'd like to invite people to follow us on Twitter at Indiana State Police or at ISP Indianapolis, ISP Myers. Follow us on Twitter so you can get that up to the minute news feed of things that are going on and advice, weather advice, things like that.
And the Nixle goes out to Twitter and Facebook, right, Dave?
Yeah, the Nixle, and if you're not familiar with Nixle, as you're watching the program today, just go to nixle.com, Nixle.com. It's a free service for people to subscribe to, and Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department uses it. A number of sheriff's departments around the state use it. We use it for each of the state police posts. It allows the citizen to subscribe and get the news direct. So you don't have to wait and rely for the news to come out on the evening news or however you normally get it. And then it's filtered by that news organization. They give you a piece of what we send them. You can see the whole thing.
Right.
Get all of the information direct to your smartphone.
And you can choose which districts you choose to follow throughout the state.
Yeah. Well, when you subscribe, if you do, and it's pretty intuitive, when you subscribe to it, you can pick who you want to subscribe to. If you live in Sellersburg, you can just subscribe to the Sellersburg feed. You don't have to get everything going on in the entire state, and it's a great way to stay informed.
Well, guys, we're down to our last 45 seconds, and we've imagined that. PIO's talking, huh?
Yeah, we could probably do several hours.
I was so concerned we'd run short.
Yeah, me too. Captain Burson, Sergeant Perrine, thank you for being in here today. We appreciate you being on the road show. Again, it's been the Indiana State Police Road Show, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance, the Cops for Kids. We appreciate their continued support. Tom Trial, we appreciate him getting us on YouTube. Remember, if you want to subscribe and follow the Indiana State Police, it's ISP Indianapolis and ISP Myers, or statewide, it's ISP
IND State Police.
IND State Police. You can go to our website and get all that information. Again, thank you for listening to the Roadshow. We'll catch you next week. Same time, same channel. Roadshow is out.